Hey guys, here are my UFC 91 predictions. The fights are going to be on pay-per-view November 15th. First prediction is Randy Couture versus Brock Lesnar. Now I'm really happy Randy's back fighting. He definitely has his hands full with Brock. I think Brock's takedowns and control on the ground are, top control on the ground are insane. And obviously there's the size. Randy, it's going to be interesting to see how he uses, his boxing skills, his clinch work, his lateral movement, and dealing with the size of Brock. Brock is relatively inexperienced in MMA, and I think Randy's a good test for him to see, how good he is. It sucks because Brock is so big and scary and freaking like a freight train, but I've learned never to count out Randy and never bet against him, especially when the critics tell him that he's going to lose. So I'm picking Randy by whatever he wants. Because I do what I want. Next prediction is Florian versus Joe Stevenson. Now it's fights like these that make me kind of wish I didn't meet all these fighters. It was very difficult for me to pick against John Fitch because I met him and hung out with him, and he's such a nice guy. And a part of me felt that he really could beat GSP, but I picked GSP. And oh yeah, there's that guy, Patrick Curte. I got to hang out with him and do an MMA crib spoof video, and I picked his opponent to win. But now I'm faced with the predicament of knowing both the fighters, and it's really, really hard for me. I hung out with Joe during UFC 86, right before his fights, and then I hung out with Florian a few weeks ago in Boston. So I know these guys, they're super nice, and I think it's going to be a really, really amazing fight. Honestly, whoever wins, I'm going to be happy because I'm going to be rooting for both guys. I think that they're both solid on the ground. Kenny has a little bit of the edge in the stand-up, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor. So I'm going to pick Kenny to win, but I just hope Joe doesn't guillotine me next time he sees me. I love you, Joe! I'm rooting for both of you. I'll be happy whoever wins, honestly. So it should be a very good fight. Next prediction is Amir Sadollah versus Nick Couture. Now Amir shocked everyone by not only submitting CB Dollaway on the show, but also doing it again at the Ultimate Fighter finale. I didn't find any fights on Nick. It was kind of hard to find. I know he's 5-0, and his last 4 fights he finished in the first round. So that's interesting. Amir, he seems like a really likable guy, and he kind of has like a Forrest Griffin type of sense of humor. I don't think the UFC's bringing a guy in to crush him, just maybe challenge him. I'm kind of doing like a semi-blind pick because I don't know Nick, but I'm going to go with Amir to win. Next prediction is Gabriel Gonzaga versus Josh Hendrix. Now which Gonzaga are we going to see in this fight? I think that Hendrix is a good test for him. I'm not saying that Gonzaga has trouble when he gets hit and kind of forgets his game plan. I'm not saying that, but I kind of am. Hendrix looks like a tough, in-your-face type of fighter, so it should be really, really interesting to see how Gonzaga handles that. I'm going to go with Gonzaga by submission if he can weather the early storm. Last prediction is Nate Quarry versus Demian Maia. Now Nate's game plan is basically the same as Maia's last 9 opponents. Basically, keep the fight standing. Standing with 3 exclamation points. It's crucial because Maia is amazing on the ground. In his fight against Jason McDonald, who is a good submission guy himself, Maia, it was just so much fun to watch. McDonald was, really good at defending, but eventually Maia got the tap. I picked Dan Henderson to lose to the submission machine, Bellaris, and Dan Henderson was kind of able to stop the takedowns and keep the fight standing and win the decision. And I kind of think this could happen in this fight as well. I'm very tentative about picking Maia because I don't know if he can get Nate to the ground and keep him on the ground. So I'm picking Nate to win because of his superior boxing, but I'm also very, very scared that he might get submitted, but I'm picking Nate to win. Closing thoughts. I cut my hair.